My name is Divisha Chilani and my student ID number is 6500065991. My internship was in a swimming pool company called Blue Lagoon Swimming Pools in Dubai. My initial impressions about the module were that I would be handed up a placement and I would have to work on it and have a lot of coursework. However, this differentiated as I started the module. I found out that I would be helped in securing a placement rather than just being handed down. And I think this was the best part as I know it's going to help me in the future. I also thought it would be really easy securing a placement. However, as soon as I went through everything, I figured out that it was really hard. They also taught me a lot, the module taught me a lot about assessment centers and interviews, and these all components helped me securing a placement. As when I went for my interview, I used the star theory approach, and I wouldn't have known about it if it weren't for the module. The most enjoyable moment was when we had a class about interviews, as it taught me a lot about how to behave and how to react to any situation. And this also helped me as my employer was really impressed with the way I gave my interview. Uh, the least favorite part about this module was that it was a lot of work. Not the coursework as such, but securing a placement was really tough, as I thought that I would have, gotten it really easily. I thought securing a placement anywhere would be easy, but I figured out that contacting companies and being after them is really tough. So these were my favorite parts. My events that occurred that changed my opinion when I went into the interview and I realized that I was a bit nervous, but just because I had done my research and I had done my background check about the company, it helped me a lot. And I realized that whatever that I used in the interview was from the classes that we had, the tutorial classes that we had, and that actually changed my perspective a lot. And the fact that I realized that doing all of this on my own was really tough, but just because I had the right guidance and I had everyone who would support me. I remember taking advices from Caroline and everyone for my CV, showing it to all my classmates and asking them for their feedback. It actually helped me. This whole module was there to support me and guide me through each and every step of each and every stage of getting an internship. Um, I think if you have the right guidance, it actually helps a lot, and just because of the right guidance. So for example, I worked with so for example, I had this interview that I had to go for, and just because I had done my star based approach and I knew what to show him and I knew how to behave and how I had to dress and how confidently I had to speak. All these small rules, and just because we had a tutorial on the whole interview, just because I had done my interview before, it gave me an idea and a sense of what to do if I become nervous in the interview. And I guess this was one of the events that changed my opinion about the whole module and whole course. And I feel that it's a really good module that a person really should attend. It should be made compulsory because it gives you an idea of how the employability world works and not just concentrate on you know uh, educational stuff. Well, when it comes to knowing what I might do differently in the future, as a result of the reflection, I think I would try improving my knowledge about the company even before I start working, as I struggled a bit with the scientific terms. Because I was working in a swimming pool company, scientific terms for the chemicals and how they would be used and the pumps and filters. I would also read up, say, if I'm going for a company which is really into fashion, I would actually, or going into a company which has a EPOS, like electrical point of sales, I would read about the products and how, they buy and sell, and which companies are their main sources. So, like for Blue Lagoon swimming pools, they had a brand called Hayward, um, which they would sell quite a lot, and that was their brand, which basically which they were popular with. And I would also like read up on quite a few financial articles, because I think if you know a lot about the market, you can give the company good suggestions about how to go about financially. As there's like Expo 2020 coming in Dubai, so having a good knowledge about how the expo would treat the market, how the expo would treat the business, and also about how VAT was recently introduced. So knowing all the basic rules and how everything is going about it, I think I would want to read up more financial articles, and I would also want to read more about the local newspapers, because it gives you an idea of how to go about it. Also, I would try to improve my research skills by just researching in university more, and trying not to be biased by sticking to one article, because that is again one thing that I struggled with a lot in my internship. When it comes to connecting business theories with like experiences, I would say that I connected to more of the motivational factors, and one of the main were Hertzberg's theory, where he said that the main motivator factor is self actual like being recognized in the company. And I realized that when I was working in the company, being noticed by my colleagues and like being appreciated for the work I was doing, that actually motivated me a lot to work harder. Also, the fact that I completed my assignments even before that, assignments or any work that was given to me before the time that they had set for me, I would complete it before that, just so that I would get more appreciation. And I think this factor I would relate it to the expectancy theory, where when you're expecting something or like have a reward, so for the factor would be variance. If you do something, it basically describes that you do something to get achievement out of it. And I guess my motive was to get a job opportunity and to learn a lot from the company, which I achieved. And I guess if I had, just because of these theories, I achieved a lot. And I was really motivated throughout the course of my period in the internship. So when it comes to perception, I feel that the managers were really impressed with me, as I got an appreciation letter from the company, as well as when it comes to my colleagues, they were happy, and they would the fact that I would want to learn from them every day, they were impressed that I would go to them and personally ask them, so what are we doing today, is there anything new that you've been doing, and anything that you've so I tried asking them about their experiences as well. When it comes to clients, I think I dealt with clients more and the customers more, because I would try encouraging them to pay as soon as possible, or motivate them to pay as soon as possible. So I did make quite a few mistakes when I would be calling them up. However, I think I learned a lot from my mistakes, and my colleagues helped me a lot, like with covering up with those mistakes. In conclusion, I enjoyed the module a lot, and working with people and being part of a team, being recognized as a colleague was motivating enough to work. And I feel just because of this module, I got to intern in such a great company. If I wouldn't have been motivated, I wouldn't have been looking for companies to work at. So I feel that this module was a really great success in my perception. Thank you.